This live is about the course Buzz 105 Spreadsheet Essentials, Week 1. The author is the Brigham Young University. My name is Ademir de Souza, and my contact is ademir.pmi@gmail.com, and our lives are hosted by this URL, quickie.com/forward Ademir de Souza. Disclosure and academic honesty. Our lives scope is this one. I'm not going to posting or sharing any or my work, projects, assignments, and so on. I'm not going to posting or sharing course materials, including but not limited to quiz and exam questions or answers or any other materials from the course. Thirdly, I'm not going to giving quiz and exam questions and or answers. Let's talk about the Buzz 105 Spreadsheet Essentials course description. This course develops spreadsheet expertise for business analytics and decision making. Through hands-on projects, you are going to master essential functions, data visualization techniques, and modeling tools. About the learning outcomes, we are expecting that you could first develop core competencies in spreadsheet use. 2. Create professional spreadsheets using functions and formulas. 3. Learn how to use spreadsheets to support informed business decisions. 4. Generate data-driven business recommendations using spreadsheet analysis tools. 5. Develop skills for organizing, analyzing, and interpreting spreadsheet data efficiently and effectively. 6. Analyze data sheet sets using spreadsheet functions. And 7. Visualize business data through appropriate chart types. Our live sequence is Week 1, Excel Basics. Week 2, Formatting and Data Cleaning. Week 3, Basic Formulas, Data Sorting and Filtering. Week 4, Tables and Cell Referencing. Week 5, Charts and Graphs. Week 6, Basic Financial Functions. And Week 7, Conclusion. Let's jump into the introduction. So, again, completing Buzz 105 will allow you to work towards a certificate, for example, from Microsoft, to gain employable skills and become a more educated person. As you encounter challenges in learning new business concepts, remember that overcoming doubts about your abilities requires drawing closer to Jesus Yeshua Christ. When coursework feels overwhelming or you question your capacity to succeed, choose to draw closer to Jesus Yeshua Christ through prayer and scripture study. About the Excel is the backbone of business processes. It helps keep information organized and easy to access. As you learn this course, remember that organizing and following a process a fundamental principle of the gospel of the Jesus Yeshua Christ. Let's talk now about Microsoft Excel basics. Let me type it here. Microsoft Excel basics. Nice. Excel is a spreadsheet program for sorting, storing, and studying data. This program can help you understand large amounts of information and save you time by doing formulas and functions for you, so you don't have to do them manually. It can also sort and graph your information, making it easier to understand because you can see it visually. Learning Excel is an important skill for many careers. When you open Excel, you will see rows and columns in a grid pattern, similar to a graph paper, like we can see now. Made it of many rectangles called cells. Enter data into these cells to store information, design tables and graphs, and analyze your data. You can adjust the width and height of cells for fit words or numbers. Each cell is the intersection of a row and column, and each is named based on location. For example, the upper left cell is in column A and row 1, so Excel designates its address related to the other cells in the worksheet, known as its cell reference as A1. Let's see that. Let me open a new sheet. Here. So we have this reference, A1. Okay. Let's move it on. To navigate through the cells in the worksheet, clicking on a cell and then use the Enter or Return key to move down to the next row. Use the Tab key to move to the next column, and use the arrows on your keyboard to move it around the worksheet. So let's try. Enter. Now, well, I'm going to use this tab and the arrows. I'm using the arrows on my keyboard. So a collection of cells organized in a row, in rows and columns, is called a worksheet or a spreadsheet. Worksheets are compiled into a workbook. So here we have two worksheets, and they are compiled in a workbook. So the Excel workbook contains individual worksheets made up of cells. A workbook may contain several worksheets. You can see the different worksheets at the bottom of the screen as tabs. So imagine imagine it then organized like papers in a file folder. Each worksheet has information on it, and the workbook, like a file folder, holds all the worksheets together in one organized area. These worksheets can communicate with other worksheets in a workbook, so you can organize and analyze all the data together. You can use all cell references to learn about your data. Excel does calculations for you just as you would using a calculator, using formulas and functions. A formula answers a mathematical question you have. For example, Excel will calculate 4 plus 4 for you if you type equals 4 plus 4 in a cell, or you can add the contents of cell 1. So cell 1, let's give it this number value of 4. So we can say here equals A1. We can type or point. Okay, I'm going to type A1 plus 4, enter, or pointing. Okay, so equals A1 plus 4, enter. And then we are in this way completing the formula. So you can quickly and easily copy an equation into other cells. So you do not have to retype the formula over and over. Remember, all formulas must begin with equals, this symbol of equals. Okay? So a function uses words instead of mathematical operators like plus or minus. For example, to calculate 4 plus 4, you can type it, for example, equals, let's type here, equals sum so 4 plus 4. So here we have 8. Okay, our functions must also begin with equals in Excel. So this is the function. Again, so let's use an example to demonstrate how Excel organizes and analyzes data using an order dispatching worksheet from an electronics company. Each row represents one order sold for a company, and each column represents a different characteristic of the order identified by the labels in the top row, called headers. So I will type it for you. Let me see here. I'm going to clean these informations and start from here. So I'm going to put here the date, port, item description. Quantity. Code. Price per unit. So FOB, dollar, and destination. So let's see. How is it present here? Yeah, date we are going to put here. The date today is 15 April, 15 May. Yeah, 15 May of 2026. Port, let's call it Portland. Email. Product. Let's say that they are headphones. Item description. Headphones. Quantity. 5 for 2 codes. Fifths. The price per unit. For 8. The total is it's going to be 26 or 16 0. And destination making side and yes. So here we have an example how we could organize. Sorry. So we don't have this final appearance for this. Is just an example how we could organize it. And so separating data by columns make it easier to analyze and perform calculations with the data. Okay, separating the data by columns serves multiple purposes. First, you can organize and then see the information based on one or more columns. For example, you could organize the data by date, like shown here. You could organize, also organize it by destination if you needed to know how many orders went to a certain location. And second, you can separate different types of data to do calculations. For example, the column D here we have the description, the item description, and price per unit at the column G. So if the description and prices are combined in a single column, we wouldn't be able to use formulas to do calculations. For example, here we have it characters, and here we have it only the number, so characters, number. So combining both, we cannot do calculations or use formulas. Okay, because Excel cannot perform calculations when there are both letters and numbers in a cell. So just as a calculator cannot calculate letters, also with these separated, if the price per unit is changed, it could be updated quickly and easily. Finally, another benefit of separating data into categories by column is that each column can later become a graph and help the user visually analyze the information. You can also link the columns to learn more data. The data in column E and column G are not linked to other columns. In other words, they do not contain formulas or functions, but are quantities entered into the worksheet. However, column G, labeled as FOB dollar, is a quantity based on the data in columns E and G. And the FOB is the number of products of the column E multiplied by the price per unit, column G. Okay, so what we are going to do is to say that that equals E2 times G2. Enter. Okay. So we have it here, $26,016. So the formula is displayed here. Here we have the formula displayed. So the formula is displayed at the top of the Excel worksheet in the formula bar. Here is the formula bar. So which is the next to the FX symbol here. The FX symbol. You can see in the formula bar that the formula is A2 times G2, yet the cell displays the result so the result of the multiplication. The symbol asterisk is for the multiplication. Okay, is the mathematical symbol Excel uses for multiplication. This simple multiplication formula shows how Excel calculates numbers. Okay, to apply this calculation for more data, you can repeat the formula in other cells in the same column. For example, if I'm going to copy and paste here, and make minimal change here. Let's call it a color of red, and instead of 400, let's just put 500 and the same price. So we can use this and repeat the formula. So here we can see the formula repeated. So this is the easiest way to repeat the formula using the AutoFill. So this is what I have used. So just placing the cursor on the lower here, lower right corner of the cell until the cursor changes to a black cross. So then clicking and dragging the cross to the end of your column of data, which copies the formula into each cell. So here is the result of dragging the formula from H2 to here, to H3. AutoFill is also a useful feature for repeating text. The text could be a static value, such as when you enter multiple orders that contain the same item, or a time value, such as as months of the year or days of the week, etc. You can simply type in a place here, and then AutoFill to drag across or down to fill in the rest of the information. For example, let's use the example of a month. I think that my Excel is in Portuguese, so I will type it in Portuguese and also in English to make this test. Portuguese, Janeiro, and in English, January. Let's see the result. Yeah, it is in Portuguese. Let's check in English. I don't think so. No. So it just repeat and formatting, no. I know. So this is the language that I'm using in the Excel. So here we have, after that, once I have typed the name of the month, it was completed by the AutoFill. Okay. So it also can have a pattern of numbers. For example, if I put 5 and create right now a pattern of an increase of 5. So I needed to mark both, have the black cross, and so the AutoFill now respect the sequence of numbers of the intervals of 5. So increasing in this way. So in this way, the AutoFill feature is useful to get the results without retyping or copying and pasting the formulas, etc. So this is it. Excel's interface includes a ribbon of comments grouped into categories similar across Microsoft Office programs. So we are going to the home here at the right corner. We have show tabs only, that this is the state of we are using, or always show ribbon. Okay, so again, show tabs only, or home, or far from the right, and always show ribbon. Let's set it like this. So continuing, let's see what's coming next. we have we have seen home. Let's see in detail. Home, we have it here, the type of the letter, some conditions, etc. We're not going to explain every button of this. Here we have insert, draw, but it is useful, our formulas, data, how to organize the data. Okay, let's back to home. So the Excel interface uses a ribbon to organize comments into tabs, which include the Home tab and the Insert tab, which are similar to other Office programs. The Excel ribbon also includes tabs specific to Excel, including the Formulas tab and the Data tab. Okay. Let's keep it moving. So, about a summary about this worksheet, about this first week is that a worksheet is a type of software that allows you to calculate mathematical equations and design tables to use to financial documents and perform data analysis and mathematical calculations. The graphical user interface, or it is also called the GUI, UI, so let me type here, graphical user interface. So it is designed for manipulating the cells of the worksheet. The graphical also has a ribbon, so which is a wide multiple table menu that contains features for customizing and formatting tables. The worksheet file is called a workbook and is composed of worksheets. A workbook can contain only one worksheet or multiple worksheets. However, you cannot have a worksheet without a workbook. Add new worksheets to a workbook by clicking on the plus next to the sheet tabs found along the bottom of the interface here. Okay. The print feature of Excel allows you to print a single worksheet or the whole workbook. Now we are going to see this feature ahead this course. Text and numbers in Microsoft Excel. Like talking about text. Text and numbers in Microsoft Excel. So Excel is a powerful tool to manage Excel is a powerful tool to manage small to somewhat large sets of data. Data can be collected in Excel and analyzed to track a business sales or costs or a machine's output, for example. Both text and numbers can be formatted to match the contents of the data, such as formatting a description as text or a cost as accounting. The page layout tab includes commands to help you format the printed page in a professional manner. So page layout here, we have it here, the page layout. So the review tab, let's find the review tab, is especially useful when sharing the worksheet for collaboration. Okay, so we can come here and share, or using this. So the review tab is especially useful when sharing the worksheet for collaboration and ensuring accuracy in spelling and in grammar. Let's talk about calculations and basic formulas in Microsoft Excel. Calculations and basic formulas in Microsoft Excel. Excel uses the formula syntax to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So the formula syntax is comparable to writing out math equations by hand with numbers and mathematical operations. The function syntax can perform the same calculations as the formula syntax for addition and multiplication, but not for subtraction or division. So again, the function syntax can perform the same calculations as the formula syntax, function and formula syntax, for addition and multiplication, but not for subtraction or division. The function syntax uses function names with cell references or ranges in parentheses to calculate, as we saw creating the formula here. So it used the letters and cells references here. And we can use also the parentheses. Sometimes we use parentheses. So let's go to another subject. Let me type here, that is formatting in Microsoft Excel. Okay. So about formatting cells using colors, fonts, and borders can make a worksheet more readable and visually appealing. Other commands such as merge cells and wrap text can be used to adjust the information in the cells to enhance the professional presentation of the worksheet. By hiding columns or rows, you can make it a more manageable worksheet or control what other users see and how they interact with it. And freezing rows or columns keeps the information visible when navigating large worksheets. So let's see that. We are going to See this format here. Can use the bold, change the color, choose the letter here. You see 12, 14, 16, 14, 12, 11. Okay, we can also hide the column or unhide the column. So we also can freeze the rows or columns, so it keeps now to keep the information. So here we can merge cells. That format here, merge cells. Here. Let's see the result. So it will only keep the first one from the left, okay? So we can undo this. Okay, so merging cell, do that. And this is it. Now let's keep going. Let's keep going to our conclusion. So about our conclusion is Excel requires you to follow a process to find a solution. This is like obeying the commandments and keeping our covenants with Jesus Christ. So occasionally we make a mistake that requires us to step back and adjust and move forward again. So let's know some key terms that we used here during this lesson. Let's start with AutoFill. AutoFill is the feature that fills cells with data that follows a pattern or based on data in other cells. Cell reference. Address of the cell related to the other cells in a worksheet. Conditional formatting is the feature in Excel that analyzes the cell contents and applies certain preset designs or layout based on the content. The command Control plus Select is about the command that allows you to select two or more areas that are not contiguous. Okay, use the Control and Select. Data analysis is the scientific discipline that uses mathematical and statistical tools to measure trends. Formatting is the action of applying colors, font types, and borders to cells for styling purposes. Let's talk about formula. Formula is the mathematical operation that may use constants or cell references, or a combination of constants and cell references. Let's talk about freeze panes. Is the act of fixing the headers on the screen while allowing users to scroll through the rest of the data. Function. Function is the mathematical or analytical operation that uses words instead of mathematical operators. The GUI is the graphical user interface, a digital interface where the user interacts with icons, buttons, and menus. Header temporarily remove designate rows and columns from view. Oh, sorry. Header is the label added to tables at the top of the columns or to the left of the rows to make the data understandable. So, like in this case, we can call these headers, or these one headers too. Hide. About hide. Hide is the act of temporarily remove designated rows or columns from view. The merge is to combine contents from two or more cells. Let's talk about numeric data. Is the information made of numerals that Excel reads like a calculator to perform mathematical equations. Let's talk about worksheet. Is the software application type that has rows and columns in a grid pattern where you can enter data to design tables and graphs and perform data analysis. Let me highlight it, the ribbon, okay. So let's talk about the text data. The text data is the information made up of words, letters, numerals, or a combination. Let's talk about workbook. Book is the file that contains one or more worksheets. Worksheet. The worksheet tab within a workbook, where worksheet is the tab within a workbook where you can input data and design tables and graphs that use the data. And wrap text is the feature that arranges the text in a cell so that it extends onto another line and increases the height of the row. So let me show this. For example, this numeric data, we have this text. It is more than here. Format, align wrap text. Here, this is the result. So, this is it, everyone. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your patience, because this is my first time doing this live in this new format. So again, my name is here. My name is Ademir de Souza. If you want to or need to contact me, ademir.pmi@gmail.com. And this was our week 1 of the course from the author BYU, Brigham Young University, BYU Idaho, called Buzz 105 or Business 105, Spreadsheet Essentials. See you in the next week, and thank you so much, and God bless you all.